Okay, so I just got done finishing Rogue. Rogue is an Australian horror film. It's directed by Greg Mclean. He was also the writer, producer on this, and he was also the director on the Belko Experiment. He directed a film called Jungle. He was also the director on The Darkness, and he's also the director on the two Wolf Creek films, which the first Wolf Creek I really like. I feel like the second one was okay for me, but the first Wolf Creek I really liked. Continuing my crocodile reviews leading up to Cruel, which comes in theaters in a couple of days. Actually, maybe today I think it came out, but I still have a couple of crocodile movies I want to review first. So I'm going to finish off them before I actually do end up seeing Cruel and reviewing that for you guys. But anyways, we have Rogue to review now. So I finally calmed down from watching Primeval, and luckily this movie is a lot better, as in a lot better than Primeval. So let's get right into what I liked about Rogue. So the first thing that I liked is the direction. The direction, you can tell when this guy is directing, you can tell he's putting so much passion and energy into every scene. And I feel like a lot of that also comes from the acting. These actors look like they went through a living hell, just from their facial expressions to the way they deliver their lines. It is so good. But the direction, there are some really well done, very on point directed scenes in this. There's a lot of intense scenes where you're just gripping your chair the entire time. There's one scene in particular which I thought was very well directed, where they have to get from one side of the river to the other, and they have to climb a rope. That scene I thought was extremely intense, and whenever anyone got in the water, the crocodile, he felt like a threat. Like whenever you in the water, you were just ready for the crocodile to attack at any time, at any point, and it really built tension around the scene. And a lot of that also comes from the lighting, the direction, almost everything in this movie shines very well. But yeah, the acting I've got to give massive credits to, and the direction, because there are two things in this movie that are so well done, that are so on point, and like the acting is just so good. Jarrett is also in this movie, and if you don't know who John Jarrett is, who's in the Wolf Creek movies, and this is directed by the same guy he directed the two Wolf Creek movies. He was the director of the Belko Experiment. He directed a film called Jungle and a film called The Darkness as well. And I had to look up at what character John Jarrett played. I had to look up at exactly what character he played in this, and wow, he looks so unrecognizable. Like I feel like it's because I'm so used to the quick look for John Jarrett. But yeah, he doesn't. He looks so unrecognizable in this movie. Just wow, holy shit. He plays the character with the mustache and the glasses, but holy shit, like who would have guessed that that's him? I mean, like I was not even convinced that that was him. Like he looks so unrecognizable. Like, man, the characters are also really good in this movie, especially Rada Mitchell. She was excellent in this movie. Like, I feel like everybody did a serviceable part of what they had to do. I feel like they really gave it all in the acting department, but also in the character department. Each character you cared for. There were some characters that were left in the background. Like one of the first kills that happened was a character that was kind of left in the background a little bit, but for the most part, these characters are all really good. But yeah, Rada Mitchell, Katie, I really enjoyed. Sam Worthington, whenever he was on screen, he was excellent. And another point I forgot to mention is the humor. Usually in horror movies, the humor doesn't really work, but there were actually a few scenes, especially in like the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, there were a couple of jokes that actually landed, that actually made me laugh. So I thought the way this movie, it handled the horror with the humor was really good, and I thought the jokes were well timed. There wasn't really a point in this movie where you actually forgot about the crocodile. The crocodile, he was always there, he was always watching, but it all comes down to the element of surprise. And this crocodile, when he attacks, it is certainly satisfying. And yeah, this crocodile is not messing around. You are in their territory, and he is there to eat you. If you get in the water, you're basically the crocodile's dinner time. And yeah, this crocodile, he really felt like a danger to this tourist group, and he really felt like a threat. And that's one thing, Primeval, which I just reviewed. Crocodile in that movie, he never really felt like a threat, but this one, it builds a tension, builds a suspense in this situation. You're just waiting for the crocodile to attack at any time, and when he does attack, it is very unexpected, especially in some of the kills. When he kills people, it is so unexpected, but when people get in the water, like, just from this cinematography standpoint here, the cinematography also gives a great understanding of the outback. That's another point to mention is the use of the outback here, because this is really a one location movie for the most part, because it's really just a group of tourists that are stuck on an island, and there's a crocodile surrounding them. And if you get in the water, you're basically the crocodiles at dinner time, and it illustrates the outback really beautifully in here. And just the cinematography is also just so pitch perfect here. It's in the first 5 minutes of this movie, in the first 5 to 10 minutes, there are some breathtaking imagery in this, and then heading into the second act, and just this movie, I thought its use of cinematography was used perfection here. When these characters do arrive on the island, this movie just keeps whining and whining and whining the tension. It does not stop, and it does not give you a chance to breathe until the very end of the movie, because once you get on this island, it's basically non-stop tension, really non-stop suspense, because there are some really actually intense scenes in this movie, like I said, where they have to use the rope to get to the other side of the river, and there's when they has to go into the water, and there's certain decisions that characters have to make in this type of situation. I thought the pacing of it was really good. There's not really a single scene in this movie that really feels out of place. I feel like it's all illustrated really well, and it all flows really nicely. I feel like the setup I thought was also pretty good. Back to what I was saying about the tension. There are certain decisions that characters have to make it, because they can't stay on this island. They can't stay on this island because there is a tide rising, and if they stay on this island, they will end up being underwater. And they try to make it to the other side. So it's really it does not let go of that tension. There's always something up. There's always something for these characters to do. And I feel like every decision was always was at least worth a try. So there was the whole rope getting tied to the other side of the river to get across, and I feel like every decision, it's all necessary. It just does not let go. It's not really only the crocodile here, it's also there's the tide rising, and it also builds another layer of tension and fear on these characters, because they can't stay on the island, and if they go on the water, the crocodile is there. So it really just does not let go of the tension. It just keeps on wanting it, and there's always something up. So and heading probably in the second act, there are some really intense scenes, and that's where this movie really kicks into A game. The music score here cannot be ignored. This is one hell of a music score. So huge props, massive props to the music composer. He did a great job with this music piece here. I'm not sure how many people actually pick up on the music, but the music here is superb. Before I forget, the opening title card, the way the main title Rogue comes up on screen, it is just so good. This is probably one of my favorite main title cards in a movie. I do not know. It just feels like there's more to it than just basic title cards. It feels like there's more work, there's more creativity behind this one, and the music, right from that opening and through to the main title card until the end, the music is really, it's a great piece of music here, and I don't know, I feel like there's just more work put into this title card than there are in others. And now I want to talk about the third act. This is probably one of the best payoffs and one of the most satisfying payoffs I have seen in a creature film. Because basically what happens is Neil, he finds the crocodile's cave/home, and he finds Katie, who we thought died and got chomped up into a million pieces by the crocodile. But no, she survives actually to the end of the movie. She's not in a good shape, but she survives to the end of the movie. And when Neil gets to the cave, we basically get our final down with Neil and the croc, and basically what Neil does is he gets a stick, he stabs it through the croc, like the croc basically does a freaking like a run up at him, and the stick goes like right through the crocodile, and that is such a great scene. But then actually one thing I want to talk about is one thing I actually did notice is in the first trailer you really did not get a great look at the croc, but when the croc's in water, I mean, it looks great. It looks absolutely good. And then in the third act, when it's out of water, it feels like the CGI is just a tad bit off. It still looks good. It still looks realistic enough, but it's just the CGI feels just like a tad bit off, because in the first two acts when the crocodile was in the water, like it looked real. It looked realistic, and then in the third act, it looks like it looks like bad, but not to the point where it does not look realistic. But I felt like the CGI on the croc in the third act was just a tad bit off. But yeah, it is such a great third act. So they are my thoughts on Rogue. So in conclusion, I will say this movie, it did leave me with a better taste in my mouth than I did when leaving Primeval. It has great characters, a great story, some really white-knuckling scenes that you just have to grip onto your chair with, and this movie does not let go. It keeps on whining and building that tension until the very last shot of the movie. I think it's one of my favorite crocodile movies ever, and maybe top 2 or even top 1 best / favorite crocodile Australian horror movie. So anyways guys, they are my thoughts on Rogue. If you have seen Rogue, let me know down in the comments, what did you all think of it? I will be continuing my Killer Croc review series, because it's cool actually came out today, but I'm going to keep this review series going because there is still a couple more crocodile movies I want to review. I still want to review Blackwater, which I'll be watching tonight, and then there's a couple of others that I also want to review. So anyways guys, yeah, let me know down in the comments, what did you all think of Rogue? Did you like it? Did you think it was bad? Did you think it was meh? Let me know your thoughts and comments down in the section down below. So anyways guys, I hope you have a good rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next video.